Meeting to order. Okay, let's call this meeting to order. This is the PEG Access Advisory Committee. Today is the first day of December 2022. I'm Carolyn Reed. I'm the chair of the committee. And the first thing I'm going to be doing is doing a roll call. When I call your name for the members, please respond saying here. Corey Atkins.
Here.
Cynthia Rainey.
Present.
Carolyn Reed, I'm here as well. Vince, can you signify that you're here? I can see you on the screen. All right, I see Vince's video, but I don't see him. He's not responding. He may be able to join us in a little bit. Okay, we do have a quorum also, just to note, present with us are also Terry Ackerman from the Select Board, Christina Hendricks from the Council on Aging. And online, we also have David Allen, member of the public, and Jason Bulger, our fearless leader. Also in the room, and I'm not ignoring him just because he's directly behind me, is Mark Pauley, the station manager. Okay. So that's our group. Let's go ahead and get started. All right, a couple chair updates first. Just very briefly, the agenda. We did the roll call. I'm going to do some chair updates. We're going to get an update from MMN. And then after that, we're going to talk a little bit about the Comcast franchise renewal process and our needs assessment plan. We have I have received minutes from Vince just a few moments ago. Vince, I don't think we're going to be able to vote on them today because we haven't had time to look at them, but I do appreciate that. We'll take care of that next meeting. We're going to talk a little bit about our 2023 meetings in January, February, March, April, May. So when we get to that point, please try and take a look at your calendars if you happen to have it, or at least know what's going on. We have liaisons, public comments. We're going to take a picture today. So I'm glad you all wore bright, shiny outfits because this is a picture for our annual report. And that picture is going to be based on the video. So when the video is done, I appreciate if you could, Mark, if you could get that, make that available so I can do a cut and paste of all the bright, shiny faces we have here. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, good. Okay, let's go ahead with the chair update. I have three things that I've handed out. The town report, a draft of it, a draft of our PAC goals for 2023, and trying to get some. And I also want to get some ideas on what you want to do for the PAC awards. It is 3:35. I want to take about 10-15 minutes just to talk about these all together. Then we'll get into the heart of the discussion. Okay. All right. Now, to me, the more important thing is the PAC report. This is an annual report, and I have some copies here in the room. For those of you who don't have one, anybody want a hard copy of this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks.
And what's the deadline?
I have no idea, and I asked Matt Johnson that at the last chair's breakfast. He has not indicated what it is. I'm going to guess it's something like January 15th-ish.
Yeah,
so
that sounds about right.
Sure.
Why do we need a deadline?
Well,
I just know, well, the printing, it's just for the town report.
It's for the town report. Got it.
right, and in the past, the deadline they've had.
We always.
that deadline
Oh,
about
okay. Town report.
January 15th.
Yeah.
So you're not writing it on the 14th, you know.
That's usually what most committees do.
Harlan would never do that.
No.
No, I just use the same form. I just fill in the blanks. And
Yeah,
change it slightly.
everybody does that.
What controversial topics are in here that I'm missing?
Well, that's the stuff that I've highlighted.
Highlighted in yellow. I'm marrying her. Oh my God, she's so weird.
Time, okay. I want to get it all through. Very briefly, take a look at this. And if we're not going to vote on this today, we're going to vote on
good.
this on the January meeting. But I want you to take a look at this and see if there's something you want to add to it, if you want to discuss it. In the past, the page limit has been 2 pages.
Yes.
This is the page in a couple of sentences, so we can add more to it. But we're supposed to capture kind of what our committee has done in the calendar year 2022. All right, and a couple of things that I've highlighted here about what we've done is we help support the fiber broadband task force. We reviewed the budget and capital plan for 2022. The warrant article, we supported that. We adopted new goals. We also gave some input on the 5G small wireless installation policies, a new residential assistance program for municipal broadband services, and the town's efforts to promote the assisted hearing services for town meetings. I've also noted here that we're continuing to analyze the subscribership, that we also did an RFP for the cable franchise renewal. We hired a consultant. We've met with her once, and we're going to be discussing the needs assessment timeline at today's meeting. I also have noted in here that the studio is in its 4th year, and that the studio right now has roughly a little more than 950 YouTube subscribers, which I think is really very good, isn't it, Mark?
We're getting there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
it seems to be increasing.
That's good.
I think it's great. The last part of it, I also mentioned what we did for the PEG Access Awards back in June of this year.
Nice.
We presented certificates to the staff, basically, for the ones who are doing it. And Mark, if I remember correctly, you had 4 videographers, and I've got listed here just 3. I have Isabel, Arcady, and Andre. Was there a Sean?
Yes, there's a Sean.
I want his name, Sean what? I'll add it to the.
O'Donnell.
Sean O'Donnell, okay,
Yeah.
after the meeting, give me the spelling for his name,
Sure.
because they wanted to add him to it.
Okay.
Okay, so that's what we did last year. The first year we gave a plaque, which is posted on the wall out here in the studio. Second year we did certificates to the staff. And I want your ideas on what we can do to say thank you and to recognize programming, staff work, something dealing with PEG access. Ideas? Okay, opening it to the floor. Corey?
Actually, Mark, you work with these people, so I think that you would have a better idea of what they would like. Or do you have any, I
Well,
mean,
I mean, is
would
it
they like a
monetary?
party? Would they
Yeah.
like,
Is it monetary or symbolic?
I don't
or-
know. Are we dealing with, do we have any money?
The committee does not have a budget.
Okay,
Okay.
so that,
So
As
I'm-
most public committees.
as most public
Yeah.
companies don't do. So it's more like a recognition type thing.
recognition,
And in the past, I've basically footed the bill personally
okay,
and not sought reimbursement, which is okay with me. It's just, it's a way we've done things.
and
in the
I'd be
past.
always helpful.
I think we could
Happy
be
to-
happy to share. in
Yeah,
the-
absolutely.
You don't have to.
We can talk about that. I'm more interested in who we should be recognizing and how we should do the recognition.
Well, I agree with Corey. I want to hear from Mark. What do you think they want?
And when in doubt, go big.
What they
Don't
like.
leave anybody out.
Boy, that's a new car.
No, and I mean in terms of who should get recognized.
I think it's been very diplomatically spread across the whole organization,
Uh-huh.
no individual stars. So I think appreciate the fact that it's not highlighting just one person and everybody
Right.
else's,
Right.
second tier. So with that said, there's 7 people. A plaque was interesting because it sits on our wall forever with their names on it. So
Yeah,
they'll be
okay,
here for the
I
next
like
few
that.
years.
Where's the certificate you got?
Yeah, certificate is great. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
So but I think but they're also part-time employees that really aren't here all the time.
So they're not
So-
students.
so they're not students.
Resume building things aren't.
Right.
Are there volunteers also who come to do video?
There is, I love that there would be volunteers, but I think we need to clarify what a volunteer is. Jason and I had a brief discussion, but because you're volunteering for a town position, are you taking the job away from someone who has a title and a job description? So we have to be careful of that.
Oh.
So we have to figure out how to set up. I digress. So
And do they need a green card? No. Yes.
you mean to be working in the
Yes, to
United States
volunteer.
or? Sorry.
Let's not go there.
Yeah.
No,
Sorry.
Well, the reason
So-
I asked that was I was thinking maybe a party would be fun.
I was thinking that
Yeah,
too. I mean, I'm not saying both, but if you want to go big, a plaque and a party would be awesome, And Jason's got the budget, so.
Ah,
Okay, Jason, let's talk to you. What would you think would be a reasonable way? Because I love the party idea. We haven't done that at this
Especially
point.
since parties have been so restricted.
And parties, as Christine said, it's been
yeah, for
very
people to get together and.
yeah, I mean, I don't know any of the people.
Yeah,
It'd be
yeah,
great
yeah.
to meet them.
Yeah.
Outside of meetings.
Yeah,
I totally agree. I would love to spend more time with them when they're not being hired to film something, to actually just get to talk to them. And so I think we should get them together.
Okay, all right. We typically do these award ceremonies in May or June. Hey, Vince,
Okay, I'm gonna get, sure.
come on in. Vince, we've got a chair over here and you can be
He's
here.
getting a chair. I think.
Do you want to sit in the big comfy chair?
Don't mind, I
Or you
don't.
wanna sit in the table?
No,
No,
you can
he's
sit
at
right
the
here.
table. I'm good.
No, Christine's gonna move over.
I know, it's right here.
Where are you going?
She
I'm
wants to
good.
be- Sorry, Jason, you were gonna give your ideas in.
Vince, Vince,
So take a little sleep.
I'm sorry, Vince.
Okay.
Sorry, Jason, what do you think?
Yeah, no, we should. I think May or June sounds great. We can plan something and have it at the studio and invite them all and invite you all, and that sounds great. And I will help arrange that with Mark.
Right?
Yeah, it'll be after town meeting. We're planning on doing, yeah, okay. Okay, we can get timing in. But could we do it at the studio rather than something at like a town, at the hearing room? That's kind of a big thing. I don't know.
It's kind of formal.
Yeah,
I think here's.
Is this good?
very acceptable, yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
you're allowed to bring food and drink into the studio.
Oh, for one day, we'll make exceptions.
Okay, good.
We have music.
We have music, yes, we have the band next door.
Okay, all right. It sounds like we have a general consensus on what to do for the PEG Access Awards, of what to
Let's try it
do.
out and maybe make it an annual.
And I think
She's been
that's
trying, and that's
just
not.
just kind of the start of this.
That's really nice.
We can, as we go forward, we can talk about who comes, who to
Yes.
invite, and refreshments, that sort of stuff. But I think that's a good path forward.
And we can all help.
Yeah.
Oh, you would definitely help. I really want you to help on this sort of
Oh.
way. That'd be great. Excellent, excellent. Okay, good. Thank you all very much. Okay, that's the awards component of it.
Good.
Okay.
Now, again, Vince, we had just started talking about the PEG access, the draft report. If you have some comments or some edits you want to have incorporated this, we've got lots of room to add stuff or not. But, and I think the deadline is such that we can actually vote on the report itself at the January meeting, so this.
And when is the
pretty much
January meeting?
Let's jump to that. I would propose January 5. It's the
Great.
first Thursday in January. How does that
Okay.
sound to the committee members? Or you're okay
So-
with that?
I did, so there's a standing meeting, let me look and see if I can find out when it is.
Okay.
Because I did have, it was a conflict today, but then they just happened to move it, so it wasn't.
Okay, that would be Thursday, January 5.
So
And I would want to make sure that your schedule allows for us to do.
I
it.
will let you know. I just,
Okay.
it's not in my. I don't think it's in
Okay.
my
Can I make a
calendar.
tentative date right now for
Yeah.
January 5 at 3:30? To 5 o'clock PM. And this is a meeting where Sue Buskey from the Buskey Group wants to come and talk to us about the needs assessment plan. She wasn't able to make today's meeting.
Via
She wants
Zoom.
to come in by, she's gonna come in by Zoom and join us for a part, so she will be a part of
I
that.
just want to be sure she's
particular
not. If I were to move it, if she's coming here specifically for her meeting, I would.
no.
Okay,
Once was enough.
okay.
Okay, maybe twice.
Um,
She was gonna watch the recording later on.
Okay,
Okay, all right, so the next meeting, January 5, if it needs to be changed, let me know and I will circulate it.
I'll probably know, best case is gonna be next Thursday,
Okay,
all right?
all right. And do you want to do that like we're doing here, hybrid and with Zoom and in person? Okay, that's good. Mark, do you think the studio will be available to do that? Or shall I have this?
I just checked right now, there's nothing going on, so we can do the same kind of thing, so it's fine.
Jason, you okay with that? Okay, good. All right.
Yep.
So tentatively, will be here at the studio on Thursday, January 5 from 3:30 to 5 o'clock. Okay. If there's a change, I will let you know. Good. Okay, so anyway, that's the report. The other thing that I want to talk about are the goals. We do this every year, and I just update it on our webpage after we talk about it. But it's something that the committee really should vote on, because it says what we're doing in our work year, which is 2020, really realistically just after town meeting, so June-ish, May-ish of 2022 to after town meeting of 2023. That's what we're doing there. And for the goals that I have that I sent around, I've got a hard copy here for those who read hard copy of it.
I would like to.
Okay, thank you very much.
I'll have one too.
Sure. Christina, do you want one?
Yeah.
Thank you. Oops, sorry,
I haven't met Christine.
I'm sorry.
Oh, yes.
It's
Christina. Oh, that'd be good.
Christina Hendricks.
Christina.
Kendrick.
Uh-huh.
Council on Aging.
I'm with the council on aging. I'm the
Oh.
liaison for this year.
Council on Aging to me is the gold standard. I just recommended somebody's having back surgery, said, oh, buy the stuff, call Council on Aging, they'll lend you all the equipment.
We're doing the tree lighting this weekend in Concord to try to get more exposure. You know, we're trying to do events, town events and get more exposure.
Excellent.
Good.
Yeah.
It's really that age, you know. I used to be the representative. They were just unbelievable.
Yeah.
And people don't know.
No,
You have
they
to
don't.
tell them.
And that's what, especially people my age or my age group, it's a little younger,
Right,
because their parents, they don't know, like a lot of things that, like you say, there's so much that they can get for them and just
Yeah, and you're not covered in the new newspaper.
not yet. We're working towards that because that's a big part of our part
Yeah.
of our doing. Yeah,
Okay, good,
because
good,
the
good.
Concord Journal kind of
Yeah, no, I
dropped
know,
all
I
our
get it.
articles and
Yeah.
all our Concord.
Yeah, no, good.
Okay.
Well, you folks have got a new director now too,
yeah,
Lauren, yes,
Lauren Beretta.
yeah.
Well, she's been there a long time.
right.
She was kind of second in command.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we need to chat with her a little bit more, because that is a connection I want to encourage.
Excellent.
Okay, let's go back to the goals.
Mhm.
On this one, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things I want to highlight. This is a format that I created, we can change it around, whatever, but just something I plug in and update every year. Reviewing the PEG budgets and getting the budget ready for the enterprise hearing, which is scheduled for March 15, 2023. Jason, this will be your first budgeting season on this. Just what happened the last couple of years, I worked with Kate Hodges and reviewed a draft budget in February
Mhm.
before it came to the enterprise. And I caught a couple of things and made some suggestions, and she made some of the changes. Didn't make some of the changes, but that's okay. But at least I had a chance to take a look at the budget. The committee also had a chance to look at the budget. And if possible, we'd like to do that again this year. Do you see any problem with that?
No, I think that sounds great.
Okay, thank you, appreciate that. Because it makes us, what we do then is at the enterprise hearing, I stand up in front of the finance committee and say, hey, I think this is good budget, please pass it.
Right.
And then if,
Easier to do if you've seen it before.
and if I don't see it, I'm not gonna be able to say that. I gotta tell you straight out about that. So that's
Understood.
why I take a look at it. Like that. And that budget includes not just the operating budget, but also a capital plan. And in the past, we've been able to see it like a 5-year capital plan of planned expenses, which I think would be really useful
Mhm.
going forward. So think about how you want to approach it. If you have some questions, give us a shout, okay?
Sounds good.
Thank you, Jason. Appreciate that.
Also, having that plan will help us in the Comcast negotiations.
Oh, yes, it will. It will. Okay, so that's one item. Another item I have is to help MN get to and keep at full strength, encouraging outreach programs and educational training programs. And that's an area where I think that the studio here could actually benefit from encouraging on that. We're going to be talking to the select board on February 13th of 2023. That's when we're going to bring information about the franchise renewal program to the select board and talk to the select board. At that time, Sue Buskey will be joining us at the select board table. So that's when we're going to say, okay, here's what we're doing with the franchise renewal. And here's the time frame. That's why we want to get the needs assessment plan, the timeline in place. So that when Sue appears, she'll appear by, I think by Zoom.
You said 15,
February 13th.
13.
Yeah, that would be that select board meeting we're on
Okay.
schedule. And then we also talked about presenting the PEG Access Awards, and then the last thing is preparing the annual report. I've got it down in this new January 15th, but that's my rough estimate. So those are the 5 goals that are different from what we usually do, which is the other matters that are in the goals system there. Okay, I'm going to stop talking about the goals. Any input? Vince and then Corey.
I think it may still be worth revisiting the enterprise fund status of MMN, basically. I think we've discussed that before, parts of it anyway, and just to summarize what it is. An enterprise fund, there's 2 options for the way that the Minuteman Media Network is handled from a budgetary standpoint. It can either be a special fund or it can be an enterprise fund. In 2017, when transition was made from CCTV to MMN, it was adopted as a special fund. I believe that that's what the state was recommending at the time. But it was a very confused issue, even at the state level, and they subsequently issued a number of clarifications just because everybody was so confused. So the latest one that I've seen is that basically they identify PEG operations specifically as one of the government entities that can choose either one. They describe a list of the pros and cons. It is really only a budgetary consideration, it doesn't mean there's a different kind of management or anything like that, but it does have some symbolic difference, I think, because it says that basically symbolically that MMN is more like a basic utility, oh, that applies, that applies more so to Concord municipal broadband, but one of the virtues of doing it as an enterprise fund, I think, is that it may be just the first step into reconsidering whether MMN should become a nonprofit corporation again. And that, left kind of a bad taste in people's mouths during the 2017, 2018 transition. But every single PEG operation in the state, or certainly all of the towns that surround us, their PEG operations are nonprofit corporations. And
Are we
It
the
has-
only enterprise fund?
I take it back. There's one that's the special fund in that store, but they're so small,
Okay.
basically, that they can't sustain
Yeah, it's
themselves.
a very unusual arrangement, what we have here, I agree.
It is.
Yeah,
Now, there are several advantages to being a nonprofit corporation. One of them, I think, and it's kind of subjective, but I think it makes a difference to the staff. Because particularly in the two organizations, that I don't know what you call them. They're almost like trade associations for PEG operations. And Concord is a member. I think we participate in both of them, don't we? Both.
I know we're a member of one. I don't know about the other. I know our names are in there, but paying is a separate thing. I think we've paid up on one, but I don't know that we're paid up on the other.
Yeah, I know we're paid up on the more local one that has a lot of memberships in the New England
What's his
states.
pay? What are we talking about in terms of dollars?
Mass access
Yeah,
is
mass
the
access.
state,
Yeah.
it's more like a
Yeah,
state
no, I mean,
organization.
How much is the membership?
Yeah.
I'm thinking it was a couple hundred.
Oh,
Uh,
okay,
yeah.
okay.
Jason, do you remember what we paid last time?
I mean, I just wanted. to
Yeah, it was like
check
$300 or
it.
$400 max.
Yeah, okay.
But it's basically a group of peers, if you will.
PEG, the
And-
PEG associations. Yeah.
Yes, yeah, and I think it's important to to the staff of MMN, basically. They have
You
a
agree?
kind of
Okay.
a job board. I think there's a lot of recruiting, isn't it done through there?
Yeah.
Was Aaron recruiting, or Kate, did they recruit through that, in the past, or?
I don't know about here. No,
Uh,
no. I think it's more or less permanent full-time positions are on that job board, but. And they Indeed is where they go for a lot of towns go
Yeah.
for part-time videographers with Indeed.
well, I think Vince is bringing up a really interesting point. I don't understand why it's an enterprise fund at this point either. And there's some real special financial things. For example, if MMN were to lose money, the taxpayers have to cover the shortfall if it's an enterprise fund. Or as a nonprofit, is it not like that? I think it might be a good goal to have somebody from the finance department come in and talk to us about our options, and there's a lot to it that I don't think any of us understand.
And I don't think we'll be able to cover it in today's meeting.
No.
It's a deep.
Right.
Corey?
I just remember conflict and conflict over, my concerns, and I barely remember this. This is a 75-year-old blonde memory, so. That my concern at the time was that we're supported by subscribers, not taxpayers. So I think at the time, if I remember correctly, and I welcome to be corrected, that the town manager wanted to use the funds to support a town person that wasn't really associated full-time with this enterprise. I mean, that's what I.
Yeah,
kind of
there was
remember.
something like that, and maybe it's out of date now, and we should, but
Yeah,
what I'm saying is we're
I
not gonna
just-
do this today, but
Right.
since that it could be something we do during the year.
Yeah, and I don't know the difference between enterprise or not for
All
profit,
right,
but,
well, I hear what you're saying, Cynthia, you give an opinion.
Well, I was gonna say for next year, I think we should perhaps just
Let's talk about it.
yeah,
Okay.
having
just so I
somebody
still-
from the
and I-
finance committee could, I
No,
think, be
Might-
It
helpful.
would be good to do that.
Yeah, finance department, somebody
Right.
come in and explain our options, but Jason
Yeah.
probably knows all of it anyway.
But you're hesitant about that. Tell me why.
I want to hear what Jason says first.
Okay,
I was just gonna say, Carlin, if you put it on the agenda sometime, I will definitely get some resources, both people and more information. I've worked in other towns where it was part of the town, not a separate enterprise, I mean, a not-for-profit, organization. I know there are several others in the greater Boston area that do it that way. I've had many conversations about the benefits and drawbacks of it. There are some of both, so I think we should have a special discussion about this. We can give kind of an overview presentation, a history. There's some history I don't know here in Concord, so that would allow me an opportunity to do that, because I know I've heard some things, but I would certainly like to dive deeper into that. And as you say, get some expertise from the finance department on the nuanced difference between special fund versus enterprise, and then also the benefits and drawbacks of a not-for-profit.
That's fair. All right, I'll put it on the schedule.
so it's
What we need to do, what we need to put it.
it's been maybe 5 years next year.
Said 2017, this was formed 2018. It's been about a 5-year review.
Yeah, so that's probably
Yeah.
appropriate.
Uh,
I'm not saying with the goal of changing
No,
anything.
let's
but-
understand it.
Well, and most of the players
yeah,
are
I
new
don't understand. it.
ish.
But some people like me and like David Allen have gone
Yes.
through this process. My opinion at this point is, let's stick with what we have, because
Yes.
the alternative is
That's what I'm saying.
not favorable, which is different from Vince's point.
Mhm.
But I'm open to the discussion.
And why isn't it favorite? Is it just the hassle of doing a
No,
501c3 or?
no, it's transparency. Having a town department is extremely transparent on what they do, on what the books, the financial parts, being able to access it. That's been my experience. Now, that's going to be different, I think, from what Vince and David will have to say, because they were part of the CCTV experience when it was a nonprofit. So we'll have a good debate, a good discussion about this. David Allen, go ahead.
Get that, excuse me, get that mute switched over. I'm just delighted that you're having this discussion. Thank you so much. The debate really swirled around the role of the Fourth Estate. Concord to have a TV station is unimaginable. 17,000 population, you can't possibly support a TV station. Of course, we do, because of what used to be CCTV. The debate then swirled around the role of Fourth Estate in a democracy. And your fourth estate needs to be independent of your government so that it can speak truth to power. It's really pretty straightforward. It obviously requires a first-class group of people in support of the thing, just the way that a first-class group of people come around to create that other part of the fourth estate, a newspaper here. I've known over the, what you say is 5 years that this has gone on, that it would to some extent fall on my shoulders to help organize such a group. I look forward to discussions of the matter. Jason, there is a website devoted to a very pointed discussion of this. As you're going to discover, I'll see that you get a link to it.
Thank you.
Again, so appreciative to hear a really sound discussion of the matter. Thanks.
Thanks, Stephen. Okay, let's get back to. the
Yeah,
agenda,
yeah,
Cory.
yeah, you know, I was just gonna say that
Okay.
tickled my memory. That was my concern.
Yeah.
The separation of the power of the fourth estate and not being controlled by the government.
Gotcha. Okay. Let's take a
Couple
look.
of other points on that.
Let's be very brief because it was not
yeah.
on the agenda for
Right.
discussion.
Right,
Okay.
I think we should get Court Booth to weigh in too. Because Court is the guy that originally founded CCTV as a nonprofit corporation, as a matter of fact. So
I made a note of that.
he knows the whole history,
Okay.
basically.
Oh, yes.
And
right.
secondly, on the freedom of the press thing, it is true that a nonprofit is much more immune to influence.
From the town.
Yes,
Okay.
because there have been, and as a matter of fact, I think you had one of the references about a Supreme Court decision where somebody in municipal government objected to a story or an article or some movement on the part of their nonprofit pig operation to change their ways basically and change their programming. And that went up at least to a federal court. And they said that, no, you can't do it. They are an independent entity,
Well, now we know this
you
court
know, so.
doesn't take precedent into consideration.
May
let's-
I drop a 22-second footnote? As-
Let's, later on, let's get back to the agenda now, please. We've had more discussion, this really should, frankly. We're looking at the work plan, and this is kind of our schedule for the next year and year and a quarter. This is for the needs assessment plan. Does everybody have a copy of that? Anyone here?
I don't.
Here.
I'll take that too.
Okay.
Thank you.
Very good. Anybody else?
Sure.
Did you have an iPhone? Okay. Yeah.
How good that's all they do.
There you go. Well, can you lift that up? All right, on this needs assessment plan, we have a rough schedule. This is prepared by Sue Buskey from the Buskey Group. I'm not going to ask for a vote today on this. We'll vote on it on the January meeting when she has a chance to walk us through it. But I want you to become familiar with this, with the key points that I've highlighted here. Those key points and key dates are February 1-ish. Finalize the dates, constituencies, times, and locations for the focus groups. And the focus groups are the way that we're going to, one of the ways we're going to get input on how's Comcast doing, how can its services be improved, and what we need to do as part of the franchise renewal process. So February 1, between now and then, get together a list of people, organizations like the Council on Aging, like Concord Housing Authority, groups that would be interested in making sure that they have access to the cable TV service. But also any kind of service complaints that are involved in that. The next one is the February 13th presentation to the select board next year. That's when Sue's going to be here. After that, the next big thing is going to be the actual focus group events themselves. That's in May. And when we're talking about scheduling other topics, I've got to put it into this schedule. May 10th and 11th are the dates that we tentatively have set for the focus group meetings themselves. So Wednesday and Thursday. At our last meeting in October, we talked about having one in the afternoon, one in the evening, or one in the morning. So we try and do it both. So we're building up to having the focus groups. And then after the group meetings are done, we're going to be putting a survey online That'll run roughly May 10 through June 9, be about a month-long online survey. Okay, tell us what you think about Comcast service, what we needs to be changed, what's good, bad, ugly, the whole works. So those are the important deadlines as far as what we need to do. The rest of the material in the assessment work plan are the individual steps leading up to it. When I talked to Sue Buskey about this work plan on November, when was it? November 23rd. Yes. When I talked to Sue Buskey on that point, she made one point that she was concerned, not so much about how the studio is being operated, but about how the technical assistance we're going to have to put out the email blast, to put together the flyer, to put out all the publicity that surrounds creating the focus groups and getting people to attend, getting people to get their input.
Yeah.
Now, Cynthia, maybe you know this. Do you know what the average response rate to a town survey is? Harry, do you have any in mind?
Well, I'm thinking about
Depends on
the focus groups they just had for affordable housing.
Okay,
And
excellent example.
it's,
the
the
production
same-
plan or.
yeah, the
housing
housing
production
production
plan.
plan. And you have the usual suspects, the same people every single time that are already involved.
Mhm.
I don't know how you get past that at all. But I do see like number 18 here,
Yep.
deadline for RSVP. That's 5 days before the actual focus group. I'm not sure why we have to have that, and I think it would discourage attendance. There's a lot of people that at the last minute, remember they forgot to register or whatever, and
I don't see it as being a hard deadline. You can attend on the spot. It's just an
Good.
idea of what size room. we're going to
Okay,
need.
good,
That's the
then maybe
function of
not deadline, maybe a different word there, okay.
it. Different word there.
Yeah. I really don't know how you can, maybe,
Is location an issue?
Location.
well, it's not by
time,
Zoom even, so no.
And as we've seen in our committee meetings, more people participate when you have the ability to participate from home,
Oh, no, I,
doing a Zoom thing.
yes, I,
You
Mhm.
get more in-depth interaction when we're talking face-to-face though, so maybe a hybrid approach, maybe a combination of a couple of things.
Maybe we need somebody to go to a League of Women Voters meeting and talk
Yeah.
about it. Go to the Council on Aging, for example, and talk, make a presentation
Mhm.
at the Council on Aging and say these focus groups are coming up.
I think that is effective
Yeah,
if you go to meetings, honestly,
okay, well, between now and February 1.
because you really have to campaign. I mean,
Yeah,
my memory is the long range planning process had pretty good participation in their
I could talk to
forums.
Lisa Willard about how she was able to get that participation.
But they really can't, they
Yeah.
had a,
Yeah.
they did have,
town
Because-
meeting was the place they campaigned. That's where I think and we'll have that opportunity. We need to like give out flyers or something at
Mhm.
town meeting.
Okay,
because that's legal for us to table or whatever, at
Right.
town meeting, right? It's a town entity.
Yep,
Yep,
but we need to be organized
Yes.
about it.
yeah,
okay, all right, well, that's part of what this committee can really help do is come up with people to contact and then reaching out and making those contacts. What's it
And-
now?
I think we have to have an elevator speech that kind of
Mhm.
excites people about participating, because
Yeah.
we just say what it means for the community, what potential there is, Like Marcus said, I think we need to put the E back into PEG,
Yeah, yeah.
So, I was thinking today, wouldn't it be great to have a student or students liaisons from the high school to our
Yeah.
committee?
Definitely.
Sure,
Because they don't need to be voting age or anything, they're just liaisons, so
Yeah.
we're not breaking any rules.
do you think there might be a high school student be interested in doing that sort of stuff?
I hope so.
I know
I
you've
hope
got
so.
2 student liaisons on the school committee that attend.
But I mean, we can go reach out to Student Senate.
Yeah, let's do
And
that.
or, are there teachers who are? There used to be teachers who sort of liaison to CCTV, but for
Good
a
ideas.
number of reasons, because of COVID, et cetera, that's just sort of fallen down a bit, but I think it's sort of our responsibility to try to get it going again, because I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
that's really one of the important parts of this whole operation. Because we're at the high school, I wish we could reach out to the middle school, but maybe that's not,
Why not?
I don't know.
I think we should.
Okay.
I think the middle school is a really good age.
Well, that's exactly it,
Yeah.
because they're really excited about
Okay.
any ideas.
Yeah, I got 3 ideas. One, we have a message on our message board that goes out to all the Comcast screens,
Mhm.
Mm,
if anyone looks at them. So
Mhm.
we have no statistics, but
Yep,
we let that run, talking
Yeah,
about what's happening.
sure.
We put an article in the local now paper
Mhm.
that's out there.
good.
And we utilize the COA's connection to, either the front lobby with some pass outs or some communications or something. So if there was that trifold that
Yeah,
can be made, we can drop it off there and then that could get, do you have Comcast? Whatever,
right.
whatever.
But I think the perception is that all you do is record meetings.
Well.
Well,
then
that's what
maybe we need-
MMN does.
Yeah,
But is that what Comcast does? So we
Right.
don't get any
Yeah.
we don't get complaints about Comcast service coming to our committee itself.
Yeah.
I don't know if the town gets complaints. I'm sure Comcast does, and I know the department gets a few. But how they handle it, I have no idea what the issues are. And that's part of what this outreach is gonna be, is to say, hey, guys, we're supposed to be renewing this contract for another 10 years. Are you okay with it? Have you had no problems? Can you get service at your house? There's a new development, hold on, there's a new development just down south of town, beyond south of White Pond. I don't know if cable service will be
Oh.
able to be extended out there.
Well, that's in Sudbury.
No, the new
No.
Concord part.
The Concord part.
There's a Concord part.
Oh,
Yes.
There's a development, it's about, is it
You're not
7
the,
homes?
you're not the task force liaison this year, right?
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah, no, it's just like a little
how many,
PRD.
how many units are there?
I think
More
there
than-
are 7. It's.
I was gonna say more than 5, less than 10. so-
Okay.
For the zoning board of appeals and planning board, but there are some, I'm wondering, like, for example, can they get Comcast service from Concord's system or
Yeah.
do they have
Right.
to rely on?
Well, yeah, and the fiber broadband people identified all kinds of areas that are not getting
Well,
broadband.
they're not getting
That's
town
true.
broadband,
We don't
Most
know
of them
about
do
Comcast.
get Comcast, but
Oh.
some don't.
right?
But they've identified, they have these maps
Yeah,
of all of that.
Oh,
Jason, at one point, you folks had done a survey for broadband about who gets what.
Yes.
Have you completed the survey and have you tallied the results on that?
We got 295 responses from the survey over the course of 2 or 3 weeks, and it represented over 10% of our subscribers that responded, plus a whole bunch of other people that just had an interest in broadband. So, and we didn't directly reach out to people, even though we had their email addresses. That was just with website, social media, and other outreach that we had done. So I think you will get a bigger cross-section, especially if the survey is crafted well and easy enough for people to submit. Let them say as much as they want, but don't require them to give long answers to dozens of questions.
Right.
or
Yeah, that's
60
what
or
it should
70.
happen with the DEI survey.
It is-
Oh, it was a hard
It
one,
is so long.
but it was tough too to answer those.
Yeah, well, I suspect that Subuski will have a boilerplate
Yeah,
format that we can
yeah.
tailor to what we're looking for.
Right, I was
So
gonna say,
questions to add, questions to subtract.
can we put in just some feedback? Can we put milestones in here for when the public survey will be ready for review? Right? Because I think we like to review it before it goes out.
Yes.
Okay,
When's-
and then,
Well, that's number 15, right?
oh, it is.
But I think that's too late.
April 24th.
That's way too late. We won't have time.
Oh, that's like a week.
Yeah, that's not gonna give us enough
Yeah,
time.
April 24th is too late.
Because she should have
We're gonna have a lot of input, I think.
yeah,
Another place we should, campaign or whatever
Mhm.
is, there's a term for it. The big associations like Concord Green, your
Homeowners associations.
condos.
Like condo associations, homeowners.
Yeah, homeowners associations, right.
Good point.
So there's one up in your neighborhood, Carlin, there's one in my neighborhood, there's Concord Green.
each of
there's
these little things have
Kaiser.
listservs, right?
Yes,
And they also have a lot of interest because some of them don't get fiber. And
Right,
so they're on Comcast and they have complaints and or
Yeah.
whatever. So, okay.
good.
On the
That's a great
survey, actually, I think that is an opportunity to actually make a statistically valid survey. And as a matter of fact, Jason, I believe at the Light Board, when they did their more recent user satisfaction survey. And, you know, this wasn't for Concord Light broadband, it was, you know, for, you know, just some issues with, you know, with the electrical service. I think they used to, I heard this being covered at one of their board meetings, that they retained an outside consultant firm to conduct that survey, and they did make sure it was statistically accurate. Now, what that means is, you know, it's like when Pew or Gallup or somebody does a survey, is that when they send out the survey, they send it out, you know, to a well-selected random population. But if people don't respond, they keep after them. You know, they must get the people that they originally sent out, assuming it's a real random sample. So that's something that if, you know, Sue Buskey doesn't usually do it that way, that they could do maybe even through the same organization that, you know, has done it for the, you know, the electric, you know, for the power plant before.
I don't think she's got the staff to do that. I think she's gonna rely on us.
she's gonna rely on us, and that's part of what we're doing right now, Corey, is
Right.
brainstorming on social outreach efforts.
Well,
ideas.
exactly. You know, it's actually a third part. It's another layer of consulting, basically. So as a matter of fact, I know there's a group that did that. I think it was Milton, where they did a survey of residents in Milton to see how interested they would be in getting a town internet service. And so they used a consulting firm in the DC area to do that. As a matter of fact, the reason I remember that is because that's the firm that what's his face went to. The guy that did Minuteman, you know, Harvard case study.
Okay,
And so anyway,
blank look, sorry,
yeah,
right. That sounds,
But really, the only way we can distribute it is through the town mailing list / and then push, right?
we'll come up with some ideas. Two things. One, I want to talk to Donna McIntosh, who's the town's new communications manager. Because she has some
When did she
expertise,
start?
and she just got the title a little bit ago.
Okay,
She's been switched over, but she's got some ideas on how to do this with them, and I kind of want to rope her into the January 5 meeting if she's available.
oh, yes.
And no, I have not talked to Donna yet. Jason, yes, I will talk to her as soon as I can. Promise, promise.
What chain of command does she go through?
She reports, Jason, correct me if I'm wrong, she reports directly to Carrie LaFleur, right?
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
okay.
Okay,
But she was involved in helping the DEI survey folks get their project up and running. And I
Okay.
kind of see her as being a natural person.
Yeah.
If she has time and interest in helping us.
well, I'm glad, I
But
didn't know the
it's an
position was
excellent-
filled. so
Well,
that's good.
she just started
Yeah.
and her main focus so far has been the website, getting that up to date, because it's really not up to date at all.
That's good.
So she's taken over for Aaron Stevens, who's
Yeah.
moved into the transportation.
Yeah.
That'd be great if we met with Donna. I
I'll
think,
talk to Donna about that. Second thing, I see Nancy Pierce has her hand up. Nancy, go ahead, go ahead and your comment.
Okay, I won't take very long. I was gonna wait until the end of the meeting, but this is so relevant. My last editorial before the last one was
Yep.
a rant about the horrible local surveys that people in Carlisle do. Because well, this is my training, and this is what I did before I retired, is all kinds of social science research. And I won't take a lot of time except to say two things. One is that I'll forward a copy of the editorial to Carlin, because it has some very practical things about how to sort of select a random sample and bug them rather than just assume that, just putting something in the newspaper is going to get people to do it. And the other thing is there's a very helpful place called the Center for Survey Research at UMass Lowell. And you could at least call them up. I've got the contact information for a guy named John Cluverius, who I sort of confirmed my rant with before I published it. He was very helpful and very friendly, and he's worked with other towns in the past, and he knows what he's doing. So he would at least probably help you through a phone call. And that's all I'll say.
Okay, thank you very much for Nancy. Appreciate it.
Very useful.
Okay. Back to the work plan. I think I'm about done talking about this.
We'll go over it in January.
We'll go over it again in January 5 with Subowski on the call as well.
That should
And
give
give
us enough
and
runway
give us some
to,
more fun. So
yeah.
if you have some more ideas, the idea about pushing back the date from April 24th to an earlier date, so we can see the survey, is a great one, Cynthia. Thank you very much. That's really good. Okay, I'm about ready to move on to the next topic that I have. I kind of skipped around here. But going to an update on MMN with Jason and Mark. You gentlemen wish to have the floor?
I can start and then Mark can fill in some of the operational details. So I've been spending some time setting up regular meetings with the staff, and we now are meeting at least every other week, and I'm trying to make it to the station routinely, often dropping off equipment, but just trying to stay in touch with everyone. We've been getting a lot of gear that was left out of an order earlier, so we've been picking things up piecemeal and getting more kits for the cameras. So that's exciting to make sure that everybody has the equipment that they need. And we've been, looking at workflows and enhancing software. Some people are now on Office 365 and able to do additional sharing with OneDrive and SharePoint and Teams, so that's good. Town meeting preparation is in full swing. We've got meetings scheduled. I know there's the event this weekend to kind of go over that on Saturday morning, and I'll be there. I think Mark, you'll be there too. And then we've got a operational kind of planning meeting with Donna set up for the 12th of December. So there's a lot that goes into that, as I know that the group knows how much planning goes into the town meeting coverage. So we're getting ready for that. And then the budget, as you mentioned, Carlin, the capital budget preliminary is done. Now we're working on the operational budget. So I've been meeting with Mark and Tori and Matt to go over that. And it's great to get their input and hear how it's worked in the past and maybe what didn't work as well, so we can see what we can change about the process to make sure we get everyone's input and there's justification and actual products behind the numbers that go into the budget, not just sort of some guesses. So that's been good moving forward. You mentioned broadband in the agenda, so I'll just touch briefly on that. It's been a lot of staffing changes. So we have a new broadband manager, which I'm very excited about. His name is Dale Hartling. He's doing a great job so far. We just had a network engineer who has been cleared to start for the town in both broadband and IT. So that's really exciting. Once he finishes the paperwork, we can announce that. And then we had a telecom technician depart a couple weeks ago. So we've posted that position and we're working on filling that. So it's been a lot of staffing work there. We're also getting ready for the winter because, as you know, we kind of shift operations a little bit. We could continue to do installs and deployments, but there's a lot fewer turnaround of real estate, which means fewer installations and requests for new service. So we switched to doing more inventory, labeling of fiber, repairs of things that were kind of fixed temporarily, and then planning for hitting the ground running come April when the ground thaws and we can resume underground work. So that's what's going on in broadband. And then I'll turn it over to Mark. He can kind of talk about the daily operations of MMN and what he's been working on.
Cool. All right. So I just figured I would just briefly touch on, I gotta find my email here. So I did a little research because Vince was going to show up, but instead of Vince being here, I figured I would just do a little bit more research for what YouTube has been telling us. So the other day we were at 955 subscribers. I can't show you the full graphic. Oh, it looks like crap. Anyway, but we've been going up just, I mean, we haven't leveled off. We just keep going up and up and up and up.
What's a subscriber though? Like I watch a lot of meetings, but
You have to
I,
click on it.
So there is a subscribe button that says
Okay,
when
on
we
YouTube.
put up a new video, you get to, like, if you go to YouTube, it'll say, boom, you've got new
oh,
videos.
okay, because I haven't hit that, but I've watched.
Do it, because then we'll get
Billy,
close to
Do
it.
it, there's far, you don't have to live in Concord.
No, so the world can do it, so. No, the world, anyone who subscribed. So the reason why it was important is at 1,000 subscribers, it begins the possibility for us getting into a tier of being able to be paid for our content. And it's a combination of first getting to 1,000 subscribers, then having at least 4,000 hours per year of viewing. Just to give you the context, right now, we've got almost double that per year.
Right.
So Don, you should
hours.
tweet out, subscribe to MMN.
Yes.
Right, because I'm one of those people who watches a lot, but I have, yeah, there's probably a lot of people
Who pays, who would
Yeah.
pay you?
advertising.
The advertisers.
Right.
And that was another question. that was
Directly
brought up.
from Mark Zuckerberg.
Yeah, so, you know, and it's AdSense from Google and all that.
Yeah.
Anyway, so it may happen in 4 years from now, 2 years, whatever.
They're
But-
there.
Right.
But it does change the way the channel is, considered. So along those lines, I did a not scientific check here. Bedford, 12,600 subscribers.
Mhm.
Acton, 5,360 subscribers.
We have to beat
Uh,
Acton, that's our rival.
Leominster, Lexington, Shrewsbury, Stowe, and Salem all are about 11 to, 1,000 to 2,000. So they're all above us.
Ah,
Below us, Worcester, Fitchburg, Framingham, Wayland, Boston, but that's anyways. Well, Boston may have a convoluted way of getting to YouTube that wasn't direct. I did a
Yeah.
search, I couldn't find it, but Jason did another search, he did find it. So, but Cambridge, Newton, and Harvard do not put their stuff onto YouTube. They have their,
doesn't?
no,
They have
not
their
that I
own-
was able to find.
And
So
no, it's the, yeah.
Wow.
so all of those that do, though, are well into us, like 500 to 800 is their subscribers. Worcester, Fitchburg, Framingham, and Wayland all have, 500 to 600 subscribers. We're crawling up that, but the next is this, the Salem people, but they're at 1,500, 1,600. So we're getting, not that this really matters, but anyways, but it is
It
it's an
does matter.
indication of the size of our
Yeah.
group. And Vince wants to do some more research, which he has to do within the building, and you're certainly allowed, come in and do that. So I just wanted to touch
No,
on
one
that
of
for a
the reasons
minute.
I wanted to ask is for the same reason. There's, I don't know.
So let me finish my thing and then I'll give it back to you. Just so.
What are you
So-
gonna do?
So all I wanted to do was say, Jason has been continuing our effort. You see us come with these small little cameras. So you see us coming with these small little cameras. You don't see us coming with cameras like this. Because another aspect of what we're trying to improve on is not just the government meetings, but our public use of our resources
Yeah.
in order to do commercial work, either paid or unpaid, whatever it may be. So last year we bought the cameras. We're now fitting the cameras out even more and more. There's 3 of these that are owned individually by our lead producers, Tori and Matt, and myself. We don't pretty much let these go out to our videographers. But those are 4K. They've got large cards there. Sorry. I'm
Not,
back.
not $4,000, 4K
Oh,
technology.
yes, yeah. So they're-
Other events like
Probably
the
not
Christmas
for
tree.
$14.
No, I'm just saying you will be there, and we have powered gimbals and enable
All in the
things to be
lens.
nice
Yep.
and smooth as we walk through the crowd. We're gonna have shoulder mounts, we're gonna have whatever. I'm gonna be on Saturday, Tori and Matt are gonna be there on Sunday.
Mhm.
We're kind of splitting our workload, but also we're upgrading all of our wireless equipment. So here's a professional in lower expensive, not high expensive kit that allows us, we had 1 wireless mic left. And so we've been upgrading those to a kit that gives us a lot more flexibility, I guess, for having every kit will have a wireless kit, whether it be handheld microphone, this has no microphone on it,
But
but
yeah, I get
but you
that.
put the microphone and we do this, or it's got a live.
Yeah.
Did I lose the? Oh, no, there it is, or a live mic that goes on with a body pack on it.
Yeah.
So we're getting this to be able to do things. We've done a lot of work lately with the DEI group from the League of Women Voters. We did a lot of stuff, and we learned a lot about not only how to do multi-camera live feeds really at a higher level, and I'll let the League of Women Voters kind of describe how good we were, I hope. But we
Very
also,
good.
Yeah,
Very good, high quality work. Oh, absolutely. Plus, I was part of the tech group of that. So yeah, that's our.
appreciate it, because we've tried. And then we've gotten some work from the Umbrella to do some higher quality recording of their artists on site and other things that we've studied on that route. So some of that is less that we get paid because that was a free event. So it's not getting revenue, but I think it's getting higher quality content that comes from Minuteman Media.
Sure.
And
Right.
we were still getting these cameras ready, so we didn't use them for
Right.
this event, but
And are you working with the 2025 committee now?
yes, yeah.
And do you, anything you want to say about that quickly, or are you not ready yet?
Well, I don't have an end goal yet. What we're trying to do is try to visit all of those committees at least once, but maybe more, and try to document for the next 50 years what happened in this town to make what happened on the day or 2 or 3. How did that happen? Did we just
Okay.
show up with cameras on that day? And that's all we have for records, which is what we have for the 25 and 50
Yeah,
years ago.
right.
That's all we got.
Full documentary.
But now we're gonna have like, this is what it took. And I'm still haven't done the one that we did on Sunday with everyone together, that
Yeah,
first
yeah.
meeting, because I'm gonna have a much higher quality of what that is. It's more, there's meeting part of it, but there's also the storytelling part of it. So it's on my computer. I've been working on it with lots of older footage from years before and things integrated in there. So
So it sounds like you have two different projects going, one documenting how we're putting together the whole thing. And then another
events.
project of just covering the events.
yes, yeah. So
Yeah.
covering the events,
Mhm.
some of the equipment that's on the list of purchasing
Yep,
that Jason and I went through. I don't think any of that kind of says for the 2025, I'd like to either rent, purchase, have available, whatever the situation is, but I want what we produce better than a cell phone walking in the
Right.
crowd.
right.
I want us to be right next to Channel 5 and 7, because I watched when President Ford came. And all of that stuff that went on, that was a huge deal.
Yeah.
And of course, he was just walking through the crowd and, it's not gonna happen this year, and you're shocked, but I want us not have to rely on Channel 5 or 7 for that content.
Exactly.
I want that to be from the town. I want that to be ours.
And another person to work with just quickly is Mike Lawson, who's in that regional.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Do you want me to put you in touch
Yeah,
with
yeah,
them?
sure. Because I want to get,
That's the whole
some
regional thing, and you might get money out of that, to
Yeah,
buy
let's-
equipment,
Yeah, let's
I
get
don't
one.
know.
You never know.
But I want to get, some specific locations established that are ours on the site that have either scaffolding or some other kind of higher lift that gets
Yeah.
us there. And some of the equipment we started to purchase would be able to go live to multiple settings along any of the routes or
Right.
at specific events. So some of the equipment that are not yet in the Jason thing could be something that we could talk about for many reasons, but for the the Comcast renewal too, and say, hey, we want to do these things. Here's some.
That you folks are adequately prepared, adequately staffed, adequately equipped to do a good job in 2025.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
really important. to do
Either
that.
with purchase or rental, right?
Whatever.
Yeah, I mean, some of
it takes.
Rental would be fine, others,
Is it a one-time thing?
others.
It's
you
gonna be
know,
a series of.
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, games and other parades and
Yeah,
the
Patriots-
cheese festival.
Okay,
and,
the Patriots Day parade that would happen this year.
Yeah.
Right, that to me was a really good example of why we need to be prepared and make sure they're adequately staffed, that you've got your locations. And that you have, that you know what's going to be happening, because it was kind of a dry run
Yeah,
of sorts.
yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah, we were told that we're gonna have the review stand to the left of us. We set everything up over there. I had brought GoPro cameras, we were up on posts, we had wireless on over there. They set it up over there.
Mhm.
And it was like, ah, crap, now we had it was because we weren't involved, that didn't think about that we needed
You need
to
to be at the
record this.
table,
We weren't
yeah.
part of, we weren't at the table.
Yes.
And I want them to think that it's as important to tell us what's going on
Right,
as other
Yes,
municipal
yes.
operations.
that you're in the room where it
Yeah.
happens. Yeah.
Tell us where it's physically gonna be,
Right,
because
right.
we need to set up for that, and it
Yeah.
may be a day before.
Or there could be a conversation saying that's not the best place, if you moved it just
Yeah.
10 feet
Yeah.
down the road.
Yeah. Yeah.
We-
So I have two quick comments about that. So you're working with Diane Proctor and the Communications Committee. on this?
Yes, yes.
Okay, and the other one is, when we do the Comcast franchise renewal, this sounds like something we should really push for, and let Sue Buskey, I don't know if she knows about this.
She knows a little bit.
Yeah.
But I think we need to enhance that.
Yeah, yeah,
I just don't know what we want from the franchise agreement itself for this particular purpose.
exactly. I think we need from Mark maybe a wish list of capital stuff.
Yeah,
I
I
don't know.
started a wish list, but
Okay.
specifically on the parade and the event, that has to be kind of, thought of. Right now on my board, right now is what we can do better for town meeting.
Well, that's good.
So
yeah.
right
And
now
that's
I've got
each-
it,
And each one of these will be an experience on how to do something better and better. So the experience factor is
Yeah.
also something that's gonna be useful.
Yeah.
Good, yeah.
so, and we had issues at town meeting, we're gonna make another, iterative change, continually doing it better. And we're gonna allow the presentations to be right on those screens at a moment whenever you push this magic button.
Right,
Push the button, it's on the screen.
yeah, that was.
In
an
the
issue.
background, we're gonna worry about what goes out to the public at our comfort level, when we think we're ready.
Okay.
But the comfort, anyways, I digress. So there's a lot of technology that we're building into this coming event.
That's great.
So just to
That was
finish
a
up
big
what's
issue
going on.
last
Yeah.
year. That's
So we're gonna
very
have
good.
that covered
Great.
until the next challenge, and then we'll worry about that one, and then we'll have that one covered. But each time it's an opportunity for us to really show the best we can to the people that are home, to the recording audience, to future, whatever. So I don't think of this as it's just a town meeting. I've
Yeah.
already communicated to
Yeah,
the,
we gotta get this out so that it's not just a tree falling in the forest.
right,
So that people can, because, I know a whole bunch of people that would enjoy seeing that, have no idea.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay, Jason, did you have something that you wanted to say?
I had other things to say about Mark's technology and the implications of it, but it's
Go
not.
ahead. We've got
Okay.
about 20 minutes left. Go ahead, and you're the last thing on this.
I
We'll
I
give it
was
over
just
to you,
gonna
Tom.
say that I love Mark's passion and
Yeah.
the increasing the production value of what we're doing and making the content more watchable. But just to piggyback on that, when Mark runs the metrics on our YouTube channel, what people watch the most is the content that we produce, these high quality videos that the lead producers and Mark are making. And not only is it a good way to get that information about whether it's like the Ag Day and the local farms and this other content that they're doing about the trolley or other events, but it also helps the videographers and the lead producers and Mark increase their knowledge of how video production works and how this equipment works. And that's something that we can give to our employees, which is not a lot. They can go in the private sector and earn, many times what they make at MMN, but here, at least if we can give them the equipment and the knowledge and the skills that they would get, it's giving them this resource. And so they are very grateful for that. And I'm just happy that we can get all of that stuff for many reasons, not just so that the videos look a little nicer. It's so much more than that. And they really appreciate and take pride in having that equipment and being able to do things at a professional level. And then the last thing I'll mention is that a lot of these people are bringing equipment from their homes in because they don't want to see their video. Yeah, exactly. They don't want to see their videos and their content that they're making look amateurish, and they don't want to have to use equipment that's old or failing or not up to standard. So they're often forced to do that. And so it's not fair to ask them to provide their own equipment in addition to work, crazy hours, cover meetings that go until 11 o'clock at night. So it's just, again, a really important thing that it's a small thing, but something that we really need to provide them with just, quality equipment. It doesn't even have to be cutting edge, but just the stuff. So I'm happy that we can cross all those things off the list as we get there and get the equipment that we need.
Good, thank you very much.
And I'll just
Mark
add,
it
because this
encouraged.
morning we spent 4 hours together as a team. We walked in together and said, we just got a call. We've got to go film someone in this other room. Let's go. With all of the equipment that we're putting together, we almost got everything, almost, not yet, but almost. And so we did it like this was real, that we were going to do an interview at the highest level, NBC, CBS, whoever, Channel 4, whatever, and it's all set up in the other room, lighting, camera position, microphone, as if we were doing a real interview, instead of us being called tomorrow to run down to the umbrella and do an interview of this person who's never coming back again,
Right.
and us going, all right, where's the setting on the camera and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So part of that is the excitement of us, and it seemed like we wasted the day. No. I've got a list of things that it was like, okay, we got to do this before we get ready. We got to set the cameras. We got to
So
do
you
this.
did
we
a
gotta do that.
desktop.
Yeah,
basically.
where's that
Yeah.
setting? Oh, it's at that third
Tabletop.
menu and the thing.
Yeah.
So Jason, and prior to that, Aaron started it. Jason's completing it, yay. Allowing us to take something that's not just a regular meeting. But
Yeah.
if you've noticed,
Mhm.
sometimes I show up at a regular meeting and it's not just a single camera with a microphone mounted on top.
Right.
We're trying to do a story, and I tell everyone who's sitting there, tell the story.
Yes.
You have the option, if you have to walk over and change a camera, walk over and change a camera, but tell a story. Don't just be a boring municipal meeting with a robot camera in the corner just facing to the room, like we're doing right now, sorry.
Fancy tablecloth. that helps.
Yeah, it is.
And Mark was
Nice table.
telling a great story.
Yeah, so anyway, so we're trying, and I hope, I hope it's being seen with the people that have been hired. They really care too, as Jason is, you're saying, and some of the equipment that we get now is a little, it's not high end. It's the average quality from what is at other studios today. So we're getting there.
Okay, we have about
right.
15 minutes.
Can I
left.
just piggyback?
Well, I want to
Derek
piggyback.
first, then Cynthia, then next. Derek
Uh,
first.
but really appreciate your enthusiasm. It's so important. And,
That gets us all fired.
yeah, picking up on what Jason said too, and what we were talking about before. How we get the focus groups and how we get more civic engagement and all this kind of stuff. How about if our wonderful videographers could do these 30-second spots for the 2025, for the town meeting, for the survey,
Yeah.
or the focus group, and that gives them the practice and
Yeah.
make these exciting stories out of it.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you have Comcast? What do you want Comcast to know? Or, you guys can make a really good story out
Do
of
you
it.
want us to be in front of the camera or have other people in town be in front
I
of?
want you to make a
Brainstorm.
30-second spot and show it.
Yeah, other
Um,
people, the more people you can get on camera,
Yeah.
the more people who watch.
Make any kind
Yeah.
of 30-second spot
Yeah.
that you think will work,
That's
The
great.
league
Look at
did some of those
Yeah.
that were pretty good, actually.
Yeah, Cynthia?
To piggyback again on that is that I would like you to spend more of your teams and your valuable time not having to set up and break down our school committee meetings. So
Yes, please.
if whatever,
We're in agreement, all right.
and it's so frustrating when everybody puts the hard work in and some things don't work.
Yeah, like the other day.
Exactly. So let's get this done by the next meeting. I
I don't know that we have the control in this room, though.
What do you mean?
This,
Are you talking about the November
Authority or
22nd meeting?
Yeah, we have to order equipment that's been promised to be ordered since last April.
Okay,
Like,
What's the problem?
who's in charge? Who's,
Oh,
The school department is in charge. But
Okay.
it's for some reason,
so is it the superintendent that approves?
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't think it's a question of money. It's just,
yeah, we were gonna split half and half with the.
I mean, it's
school-
$16,000.
Yeah, and.
16?
And,
I know.
but they needed, to order stuff, and then they needed quotes, and then they didn't get quotes, and then right now for Carlisle, same kind of thing is going on. I have to bring all the equipment to Carlisle. because
So that's what.
their room is half built.
So we don't, we're.
But they waited so long that the items that were specifically on my list of this is what we're gonna have for standard are no longer available.
Mhm.
So
But if we
had
could
to go
push for the
back.
town side, just to say, because it really is not fair to the staff of
No,
MNN.
it's
I agree.
it's a lot of work.
So
I agree.
if.
How can we help?
I guess just, I don't know, talk to the superintendent of schools or talk to.
I have been
Peter,
not successfully.
The IT guy.
evidently.
Well, Jason and the IT guy, they might.
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy to reach out to Lori and Peter and find out what the holdup is.
If
Mark,
you-
you and I can chat
And you
tomorrow.
might need to do it a couple of times. That's the only
Well, they
tip I'll give you.
Yeah,
Okay,
Okay.
okay. Vince, you had something?
Two things. One on the website, new website developer there, the communications officer. It will be very helpful in terms of getting over that 1,000. If the website gets a big improvement. As an example, yesterday, I was actually looking for one of your full-time staff people. I think I know how to spell Isabel's name. I mean, she's not full-time staff, but she's one of 3 people that are listed prominently on the site still. And so I was looking for the spelling of their name. Took me 5 minutes to even find out
Right.
where you were. You're buried in the town website.
Exactly.
And basically, you guys need to have a separate website. And I know they've done that on a preliminary basis for the trolley. And
Yeah, but then I didn't even know that existed.
Remember that.
Vince, if you send me an email about this, I can, we've been asked on the select board to give feedback on the website.
okay,
If you can send me some specifics,
yeah,
I'll forward that, but also when Donna comes into our next
Yeah,
meeting,
yeah.
let's really talk about this.
That's a good idea.
right.
Because you can't find anything on that website. It is really a disaster.
I agree.
Yeah.
We really need a lot of work on it, but she needs some real specifics of
Right.
how to deal
Okay.
with it.
Okay.
Well, and
Okay.
she will probably know, one of the things is, it's what you call website optimization. It's how to get more eyeballs.
I don't think we're up to that at all.
You
Well,
know,
actually,
infrastructure.
Actually, you are.
Well, they also live in it with a tool, like they say.
Yeah, we have software we have to deal with.
Yeah.
I think we
Yeah.
have to start with the basics before
She's only been
we
here
get
for
to
a
the
couple of weeks.
optimization. We're not.
she hasn't done it yet.
Well,
Close to
you can do
that.
both at the same time.
Okay, well, we
One
can,
of it is just getting links.
Okay, all right, folks.
All right.
I'm gonna take a timeout. We've got about 7 minutes left of this meeting. I want
Liaison.
everyone to look at that camera and smile, because this is gonna be the screenshot that we take for our annual report. Now, Christina, this includes you. You've got to get.
Nancy, where'd you go? Nancy.
Who's
Where?
Mine?
Are you in this now?
Can I,
Yes.
can I be in?
Yes, you're supposed to be in this.
Of course.
I don't know.
You need- I mean, sit-
And I'll lose my chair. You should be in the front.
Put the camera in your hand.
Oh, it's just-
I want you to have your arm around me.
You guys. Jason, I'm gonna Photoshop you in too. So yeah, I like that smile. That looks good.
Oh, that's a
Okay,
good one.
I'm gonna count to 3 here, guys, so we know where it is on the camera. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Okay, now you gotta hold it. Well, that's good enough. Okay, that's fine. Thank you. All right. now
Good
we have the
enough.
screenshot. Well,
Carlin. is the-
otherwise it looks like with screen frozen. It looks kind of bizarre.
Oh, Corey dressed for it. The rest of us-
Exactly.
She's always dressed.
She knows
Okay.
how to, she
What
knows.
are we at,
Always when you're on TV, bright colors.
Yeah.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
can we get a 1080p off of that?
And now that they have
Okay.
HD, you can wear stuff like that, but before you couldn't.
I
know.
know, it's just, it's the wrong number. Okay, 5 minutes left. Let's do last minute liaison comments and public comments. Anything from the select board or the school committee first?
Great meeting.
Okay, anything from council on aging?
Yes, the reminder that I'm doing that we have a table on council on aging at the tree lighting.
Sunday,
By the post office near the carolers. We're gonna have a banner and we're gonna have, but anything you want me to.
what
give
time does
out
that start?
from
4?
here, I will be
3?
happy to do.
4?
What time does
I
this
think
start?
it's 3 to 6 PM on Sunday.
Yes, so if you
But
want
Santa's
me
at 5?
to pass out anything that hasn't got, anything you have or anything.
And what happens on Saturday?
Saturday is, thank you very much.
Oh, is the
Saturday
town meeting
is the
preview.
preview meeting
9
at 9
a.m.
a.m. And it's at the townhouse hearing room
Yeah.
and over Zoom, if I remember the
Mhm.
notice that just came out. Town preview meeting, it's where we see what's gonna be on the warrant. for
Some of
annual
what's
town
gonna be
meeting.
on. the
Oh,
It
okay.
looks pretty late.
That I'll probably do
Yeah.
by Zoom.
I know.
Also, that thing at Ben's
Okay.
school on
right.
Sunday.
Now, question, comments from the
before Sunday.
audience online. Jason, do you have anything? You're
Court
first. If
meeting.
not, we'll go to Nancy, then David.
Was
Jason?
everything with his chief?
Nope,
Jason?
nothing for me.
Nancy, do you have any questions, any comments?
No.
Yes, I have two comments. One is about the focus groups and one is about the money. And this is basically in the future, but this is just in case I don't make your meetings then. I observed the Carlisle focus groups and I felt like the most productive were actually the ones that involved town employees from several departments because they really built on each other and they had more informed ideas and more creative ideas about what services the town could get. And the second thing is that it may be a horrible tangled web and maybe irrelevant now, but I know that Carlisle had some investment in the equipment in the studio. And I think there was some reserve funds that were still there at the time of the transition that I don't believe were ever accounted for. Plus, there's the whole question of the fact that Carlisle has paid for about 35% of the studio space. And that should just be taken into consideration at the point at which you think about going back to a nonprofit. I think Court probably knows the history better than I do, but I just know that I don't really think that anybody paid attention to the fact that there was this reservoir of Carlisle funds there. And it may take a while to sort it out. That's all.
Thank you very much, Nancy. Appreciate that. David, did you have any comments?
Thank you. No.
Okay, all right. Anything last minute? Vince, go ahead.
Jason, I just had a question for you on the capital budget. What is your preliminary, estimate?
Well, in 3 minutes or less. It might
What's on our
be,
agenda, right?
Yeah,
yeah. I can tell you, Mark has a list of stuff with him. Let me see here. So in terms of the total dollars for next year, 84,000 was the preliminary estimate for fiscal 24, which is broadcast server hardware to replace the TeleView system, replacing the editing iMacs and townhouse equipment replacement.
That enough?
84.
Oh, thank you.
84.
Now, if you project
Thank
that
you.
out,
That's-
10 years,
Jesus. It's just. one of
We
those
have a
things.
5-year plan right now with kind of a year 6 tentative, but I mean, I think we could certainly put an item on the agenda to talk about this. Carl, and you were looking for preliminary stuff anyway, and I think by our next meeting, we'll have the both operating and capital budgets ready to discuss. So
Okay, I'll put that on the agenda for the January meeting after we talk with Sue.
I would encourage you to think big because you only get this chance with Comcast once every 10 years.
right,
And they
Bingo.
can always say
Absolutely.
no.
absolutely.
Right.
We just haven't gotten enough from them in the
We have
past.
two budgets that we're talking about here. One is the one that goes before the enterprise budget that will go before annual town meeting.
Right,
in
right.
April.
Right.
And the other is what we ask for the capital
That's the
component.
one I'm talking about.
Okay.
That's the one we need to think
He's
big, the
talking about the
capital.
ATM, that's a separate.
I
one.
think we can check with Sue. I think she
Yep.
advised us the same thing. It's
Yeah.
a lot higher,
Right, a
Oh, yeah.
lot.
a lot higher.
Yeah.
that was not what I was.
So
referring
84
to,
million would be
Comcast.
No.
What,
Add a
wait
zero.
a minute, Jason, what did you say, Jason?
Oh, the amount I just mentioned, I was not necessarily referring to what we would be looking for
Oh,
Comcast.
good.
No,
Oh, good.
no.
Yeah, I think we
That's
should
just-
tell them we got the 2025, the president might come, we
Yeah,
need. We need.
we've got others on another list that is really things that we could pull out and
Yeah.
to the Comcast list. You know, vehicle with a full bed of
Yeah,
equipment, and
Yeah.
all this stuff,
to get most of them, but we need to
yeah,
yeah.
negotiate. We need to start big.
Right.
yeah,
Okay,
so then.
So I just wanted to say one more thing.
What they
I-
can give away.
okay, hold on, Mark,
So-
go ahead.
Just one quickly, I've been working with Carlisle, their room, like I mentioned earlier, is completely gutted, their main room for their meetings, their select board meetings and other, right next to the COA and stuff. completely gutted. We're in the process of replacing it all with equipment that both towns will now be familiar with the new equipment that are coming into all the different places. And it's been gutted, things have been thrown in the trash. They got like 2 more components to get, and then they're gonna come back in and refit that whole room with digital mixing board, just this, black magic stuff, cameras, blah, 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 all these things. But it's what we're also doing with the school, if they ever buy it. And it's what we want to move towards the townhouse. And the townhouse, I want to be able to run 2 meetings at the same time.
Yeah,
In both rooms,
That's right.
not one meeting
That's
in one
right.
or the other.
that's
Because right
right.
now you can't do 2.
No.
So there's a lot of stuff we've been working on to try
That's
to.
wonderful.
kind of
I
step up.
love that you're thinking forward on. this.
Yeah.
It's Really good.
Okay,
Anyways,
all right, folks, we're going to wind this up. Thank you all very much. Again, the next meeting is going to be Thursday, January 5, 2023. It'll be here at the studio, 3:30 p.m. to 5 p.m. It'll be hybrid, in person like this and by Zoom. And if there's some change in the location of the time, I'll let you all know about that. Okay. All right. Anything else? I see nothing else on the agenda, so I'm going to declare this meeting to be adjourned. Thank you all very much.
Great
Thank
meeting.
you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Are you
Thanks,
reaching out
Jason.
to the new newspaper?